The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Ross here for the Ross Report on 912 Sports. Of course, we are in the midst of March Madness as the Sweet 16 kicks off tonight, and tomorrow night the regional semifinals with the Elite Eight on Saturday and Sunday, culminating in the Final Four next weekend down in New Orleans. And one 912 player was hoping to be in the Sweet 16 this weekend, but got upended in the second round in Greenville, South Carolina last weekend, and that was Auburn Tigers' Jalen Williams, the junior guard from Brantley County. He scored 12 points in the loss to Miami as the Auburn Tigers fell 79-61 in the second round. After Auburn had a great season going, they won the regular season in the SEC. They were a 2 seed in the national tournament before, of course, they fell in the SEC tournament and then also fell to Miami as a 2 seed. Kind of a disappointing year for Coach Bruce Pearl's squad. They had a great regular season, winning, as I said, the regular season in the SEC. Williams on the year, of course, he's from Nahunta, and I said went to Brantley County. He averaged 5.6 points per game. His season high was against the Florida Gators on January 8th. That was 14 points, and just a junior, so one more year, if not eligibility-wise, COVID, I'm not sure, maybe 2 more years as the Auburn Tigers. And the 912, not any strange phenomenon having a player in the NCAA tournament last year. It was Liberty County's Davion Mitchell of Baylor that led the Bears all the way to the title game by averaging 14 points per game, winning multiple National Defensive Player of the Year awards. Davion Mitchell led Baylor over Gonzaga in the championship game with 15 points that day, and beat previously unbeaten Gonzaga to win Baylor's first national championship. Davion Mitchell won a state title at Liberty County, a 4A state title at Liberty County, before originally committing and playing at Auburn as a 4-star player. Then moved on to Baylor, of course, won the national championship and left after his junior year, and was the 9th pick in the 2021 draft by the Sacramento Kings. So some recent history in the NCAA tournament for some 912 players, and lots of players on the hardwood this past season, as we will look forward to seeing them move on into their college careers and hopefully on the big stage of the NCAA tournament in years to come. I'm Robbie Ross, and this has been the Ross Report for 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and joined now by the new head coach of the Wayne County Yellow Jackets, Jabo Shaw. Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate everything you guys do for high school sports, man.
Well, we appreciate you giving up some of your time, Coach, to come talk to us a little bit about Yellow Jackets football. Coach, for people that don't know it, last year you were a coach at Rayburn County, had probably one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Georgia, and Gunnar Stockton was your signal caller. But you decided in the offseason, after Wayne County approached you, to come down here and take over this program, which was a 5A program when you took it over, but now you guys are moving down to 4A. You'll be a part of Region 3 4A. But Coach, talk a little bit about what went into your decision and what brought you down to Jessup to be a part of this Wayne County family.
Well, number one, this part of the state has always meant a lot to me from my time in Statesboro at Georgia Southern while I was playing there. So this part of the state has always meant a lot to me, and I've always kept my eye on this part of the state. So that was probably number one. And then just, looking for not necessarily looking, but when I got the talks and when the communication started with Wayne and myself, how much football mattered to Wayne County and this community, that was the thing that jumped off the page at me when I came down and spoke to everybody and got to know a lot more people. That was definitely a huge contributing factor of football matters, in Wayne County, and they want to be good in football. And, this community supports it, and we've got great administration. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the saying, good coaches follow great administrators. And, the suit from the Dr. Kelly, our superintendent, to our principal, Dr. McDaniel, they have set a course of, where they want the athletics to go and to continue to be in some of the other sports. And so I just was very thankful and honored that I get the chance to be here and lead this football program.
Well, Coach, we all know it takes Jimmys and Joes to go, but it takes a good coaching staff as well. And so when you come to a new place, there's the putting together of a complete staff. Talk a little bit about where you are with your staff, if you're complete, your offensive, defensive coordinators, who all you brought with you, who all you brought in to be a part of this Wayne County staff.
Yeah, starting with our coordinators, our offensive coordinator is a guy that's come with me from Rayburn County. He's been with me he was a high school teammate. We both played for my dad. We've been together for probably 13, 14, 15 years. So he's coming from Rayburn. His name is Andy Mahaffey. And so he'll be in charge of our offense. And then on the defensive side, our defensive coordinator will be Randy Crutchfield from Dodge County. We crossed paths several times through film study, whether we were getting ready to play Thomasville or Fitzgerald or somebody like that. And while I was at Raven, of course, they had played Dodge. And so, I've known Coach Crutchfield for a while now as far as just, studying his defense, and he's going to do a great job. He actually starts here at Wayne County on Thursday of this week. So it'll be good to get him in the building. Our offensive line coach and our strength coordinator is J.J. White. He's another one that's coming with me from Raven County. He was another guy that was a high school teammate, been with me for a long time, same as Coach Mahaffey. And Coach White's already here. He started last week. So, getting together our winter workout program and getting our off-season program going that we started in January when I started, and then him being able to start last week and get things rolling as well. That was huge for us. A couple other guys, Tommy Adams, he was on staff here previously. He's done a great job. He'll coach in our secondary on defense, and think a lot of him in a lot of different ways when we were going through this process. And then still working through some other spots and still trying to get that nailed down. Another guy that was here previously, Anthony Yoder, will be on the offensive side of the ball. A young guy that cares a lot about Wayne County, played here at Wayne County. So we've definitely headed in the right direction, I feel like, with our staff. And it's like I tell anybody, I'm only as good as that staff that surrounds me. And so it's extremely important. And hopefully we start nailing some more spots down here in the next couple of days.
Well, sounds good, Coach. And for people that don't know, you come from a coaching background. Like you said, you mentioned you played for your dad. Your dad, longtime, high school coach here in Georgia. You and your brother both played college ball. Your brother being Connor Shaw, playing at South Carolina. And then you started at Tech and then finished your career at Georgia Southern. So you've got football in your blood. But getting back to that coaching staff there, Coach, you guys start, I guess, May 1st for spring ball. Talk a little bit about what's in store for the Wayne County Yellow Jackets there for spring.
Yeah, we're gonna, I'm really excited about, where we're going to be going into spring practice, because we get, those 10 days of just true evaluation. And, we don't have a spring game against anybody. We're going to have an inter-squad scrimmage on that 10th practice towards the end of May, right before graduation. So those 9 days, those 10 days are going to be huge for us of just true evaluation, not necessarily, where they've played, where the kids have played in the position the past, year, 2, 3, whatever. It's just us getting to get our hands on them and start teaching our schemes on both sides of the ball in our special teams game, of just true evaluation and, see where we're at going into the summer and see where we got to get to before we start up in August.
Exactly. Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about that offensive and defensive philosophies. Do you have something that you're going to run regardless, or is it something you're going to, your personnel going to dictate? Talk a little bit about your offensive and defensive philosophies.
Offensively, we're going to look very similar like we did at Raven. I will be an up-tempo spread in the shotgun. We're going to play fast. So that will not change. Now, what our run schemes are and what our pass game is and what our screen game will be, all of that has to be obviously a little tailored to what we can do and what we can be successful at. But really excited to see some of these guys get out there and get the ball to them in space and see what they can do. And so the offensive wise, we've got an identity that we've had, for a long time of what we've done, and that won't change. We'll be extremely physical in the run game and try and put you in a tight position with formations and trying to play as fast as we can and up tempo, but also when it's time to squeeze the air out of the ball and in the football game if need be, then that's what we can do as well. So, but the true identity of our offense, we're going to be fast and physical. Those are two things that we're going to hang our hat on and create explosive plays. That's kind of been us for a while now, and that won't change on the offensive side of the ball here at Wayne. Mm-hmm. Defensively, I'm not set to a certain scheme. I think the defense, we've got to, once Coach Crutchfield gets into here, starting on Thursday, we start evaluating personnel and we start looking at things. Then we'll kind of start piecing that together and see what that looks like and see how multiple we want to be on the defensive side and what we can be. But number one being, our guys, we want our guys to play extremely fast and be extremely confident in what we're doing. If that's really simple, it's really simple. If it's, complex, then it's complex. But whatever's going to get our kids to fly around the football, arrive with bad intentions, and play the brand of football that we want to represent, that's what we'll do.
Exactly. Well, Coach, talk a little bit about. You guys are coming from 5A, be slid back down into 4A, so you lose having to play the teams like Ware and Warner Robins and Coffee. But by the way, you just get to pick up and play Benedictine
Yeah.
and some of these other good 4A schools. But talk a little bit about that region, who your competition is, and anything you know about some of the teams that you're going to be facing.
Yeah, I mean, this region, when you start to look at it, the quality of coaches and the quality of coaching staffs that their head coaches have put together, I mean, it speaks for itself. And, guys that great athletes, really good football with really good coaches. And, I'm excited about the challenge ahead, because it's going to be a challenge with the teams like New Hampstead and Benedictine and Southeast Bullock and Burke, and Islands, all of those, really good football coaches. And I got a lot of respect for their football programs and what they stand for. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons that attracted me to, I want to compete against some of the best, and I want to continue to grow as a coach and be in big time football atmospheres. And that's what makes it fun. So, but our region, I'm excited about our region. I think there's some great matchups as far as really exciting Friday night football in communities that really care about their football program. And, that's what makes it a lot of fun.
Exactly. Well, in the words of Ric Flair, if you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man. So.
There you go.
Well, Coach, we sure do appreciate your time. We're definitely going to be following along closely with you guys as you progress through the spring and get ready for for fall ball. It'll be here before we know it. Anything we can do here at 912 Sports to help you guys out, please let us know. We're proud to have you a part of the family, and look forward to the fall and Friday nights under the lights.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you, and I'm so glad to be here and be a part of this whole 912 Sports in this area. And if we can ever do anything to help, man, you just let us know. You're always welcome here, and thank you for what you do for high school football, man.
All right, buddy. We appreciate it. That's Coach J-Bo Shaw, the new head coach of the Wayne County Yellow Jackets as he gets set to go into spring. They're going to kick off spring practice on May the 1st. But we'll be right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports right after these messages.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
Good, Sean. Just good to be here with you talking high school sports again. We're right down in the smack heart middle of everything in the spring, so getting down to the nitty-gritty here, and before long, it's going to be the postseason in our spring sports, and before we know it, the school year is going to be over. Since the first of the year, this first part of 2022 has really flown by to me.
It really has, Kevin, and we are right in the middle of region play. Everybody, I think, now is in region play, regardless of what sport it is, or right slap dab in the middle of it. And we're going to do a little soccer review because we got some really good teams right now in the 912 playing soccer. We'll start off on the boys' side, Kevin, and we've got Glenn Academy. We'll start with Glenn Academy because Max Preps, and we're going off of Max Preps right now, their rankings. Glenn Academy is ranked number 2, regardless of classification in the state in boys soccer, and ranked number 1 in 6A, according to Max Preps. And, of course, their record dictates that, Kevin. They're sitting there right now at last count 13-0, 9-0 in the region. Got some really good players. Of course, we did a thing a little bit earlier this season on Bobby Brockman getting his 400th win, but the Glenn Academy Red Terrors got it rolling there in 6A.
Yeah, like you mentioned, we did the story or did the piece on Coach Brockman getting his 400th win. So he's a little bit over 400 now since that was a couple of weeks ago. And Glenn continues to roll along after that 400th win. I mean, they score 3 or 4 goals a game and really hardly give up any goals, maybe 1 or 2 at the most. So they're really sound defensively. That's kind of been a staple of Coach Brockman's program, but they've always had good strikers and good players in the midfield who can put the ball in the back of the net as well. And this Glenn team just looks pretty solid from top to bottom. I've only seen them a couple of times. One was against Brunswick in the first meeting between the rivals not long after Coach Brockman got his 400th win the week before. And, Glenn's right now in position to win Region 2 6A once again. And the funny thing about it is it's kind of like depending on what poll you look at, whether or not a team is ranked or not, or they might be 3rd in one, 5th or 6th in another. But I did look at the AJC rankings at the start of this week, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution rankings, and Glenn not even listed among the top teams, 10 teams in Class 6A. So take that for what it's worth.
Exactly, and they're sitting there undefeated and playing one of the toughest regions in the state. And like I said, the AJC, I guess AJC a lot of times they cut stuff off at Macon anyway. So South Georgia really doesn't exist. But anyway, sticking right there in that Region 6 2A, what we did, Kevin, is we took the top 15. Brunswick sitting there at 15 at 9-4, 4-4 in the region. So that's another Region 2 6A team ranked there in 6A. But we didn't mention anybody in 7A because Camden is our only school. Camden not ranked right now, so we'll go from 6A to 5A. You got the Ware County Gators ranked at number 11. They're sitting there at 7-1-1, 4-0 in the region, so they are sitting at the top of their region right now. They do have a date with Veterans. Veterans, I think, is ranked above them and is playing some pretty good soccer, so we'll see how that all transpires when Ware actually does have a chance to play Veterans there and see how that comes out. But nobody in 4A again, Kevin. Drop down to 3A. We've got 2 teams in 3A. You got the Long County Blue Tide sitting there at number 4. They're 10-1-1, 6-0 in the region. And then you got the Pierce County Bears sitting there at number 10, 7-5, 3-3 in the region. But Long County playing some good ball. They've only lost to one team, and I believe it was a big 7A school or 6A school that they lost to. So Long County getting it done there over in Ludowici.
Yeah, it might have been Glenn Academy that they lost to because I know both of those teams played each other last year, and they probably played a home-and-home type deal, and it was over here in Brunswick last year, so it might have been over in Ludowici this year. But, I saw that team last year, speaking of that, and I was impressed with them. They did lose to Glenn last year, but I saw where they looked like they had a good soccer team and well-coached. So I'm not surprised they're doing good. And is there a sport Pierce County's not good at, Sean? If there is,
evidently not.
But you mentioned that veteran squad. I know they're not a team we cover in the 912, but of course they play our teams in that 5A region that Ware and Coffey's a part of, and they are ranked in the AJC, by the way.
Right, yeah, they're a very, very good program year in and year out. So we'll see how that transpires when the Gators get a chance to take on the Warhawks there in soccer. But moving down to AA, Kevin, we got 2 teams, Toombs and Bacon. Toombs is sitting there at 11. Bacon sitting there at 13. Toombs is 7-4-2, 6-2 in the region. Bacon is 8-3 overall, 6-1 in the region. And these two teams have already played one time, Kevin. Toombs were able to come away with a 3-0 win, and they match up again on April the 4th for their second game in that region. And that'll be a really, really important game. If Bacon can get a win there, they may be able to edge them out. Sitting there, for that region title. So big matchup coming there on April the 4th between Toombs and Bacon. And getting into single A, there's nobody ranked in single A for soccer here in the 912. But I was really impressed. Like I said, Glenn County sitting there number 2 overall according to Max Preps. Regardless of classification. I think Harrison, the only other team, or Harrison was ranked number 1. Harrison, of course, people remember is where Justin Fields went to school. Glenn actually beat them in football. What was it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Well, it was the same year that Justin Fields was a senior. Because he was hurt and did not play. And from what I understand, I didn't make it to that game. I think I was somewhere else, but
right.
He didn't show up. He went on a cruise with his family.
He did, yeah. Didn't even make the trip down. So not a lot of attaboys for him doing that. But Kevin, let's switch gears. We'll go over to the girls. We'll just start down at the lower classifications here for the girls. In single A, we've got Atkinson County ranked number 6. Atkinson sitting there at 6-2, 4-0 in the region. And also in single A, you've got MCA right down the road from you there, McIntosh County Academy, the Buccaneers, Lady Buccaneers sitting there at number 8, 10-2 overall, 6-2 in the region. So some really good soccer getting played down the road there in Darien.
Yeah, I think their soccer program is in their infancy stages. If I'm not mistaken, this is only the 2nd or 3rd year. You might remember, Sean, that we did honor one of their kids as one of our student athletes of the month, I guess, about this time a year ago. And, they had put together a pretty good soccer program last year and, in quick turnaround there with just getting this program started. So regardless if it's 2 or 3 years old, I mean, it's great to see them ranked in the top 10 and playing some good soccer. And, hey, even the Atlanta Journal-Constitution noticed them. They are in their top 10.
Well, good deal. They've actually have come below the net line there. So congratulations to the AJC. But moving right along, we've got AA. Jeff Davis, the Yellow Jackets, ranked number 6 in the state, sitting there at 13-0. Kevin, 8-0 in the region. So they're playing some really good girls soccer over there at Jeff Davis. Moving on up, yours truly, the Pierce County Bears, Kevin, also ranked in girls soccer at the same position, number 10. Max Preps got them at number 10. The Lady Bears sitting there at 9-1 on the season, 6-0 in the region. So they're rolling right along. We didn't have anybody ranked in 4, didn't have anybody ranked in 5. But getting to 6A, another familiar face, the Glen Academy Lady Terror sitting there at number 6, 11-0 on the season, 8-0 in the region. So they're undefeated, playing really good soccer. And then right down the road, Richmond Hill sitting there at number 7, 11-2 on the season, 7-1 in the region. And I believe that lady, the Wildcats only lost, Kevin, to that Lady Terror team.
Yeah, the Glen girls, much like the boys, they've had a solid program year in and year out for several years now, and it's just like they never rebuild; they just reload and just turn their players over. And I think they're again solid defensively, have some firepower up front, and they've been a team that's been able to certainly be at the top of the region and have a chance to go deep into the state playoffs the last few years, and it should be the same this year. And Sean, by the way, I hate to keep on this refrain, but we're on this refrain today. They are ranked by the AJC as well.
Good deal. All right, and that brings us to 7A. That leaves us with the Camden County Wildcats, and the Lady Wildcats are ranked. They're sitting there at number 15, playing some good soccer. Haven't played a whole lot of games, but they're sitting there at 6-2 on the season and 1-0 in the region. So congratulations to the Lady Wildcats. But that's going to wrap up our soccer review. Kevin, we talked about it last week. The GHSA had a big vote last week. We're going to delve into that after this break, but we're going to take a pause for the calls here, and we'll be right back here after these messages on air with 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. Don't forget, we've got the latest edition of 912 Sports with Luke Boykin of the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. It's on display now. Pick up at one of your local distribution points, or hey, go online to 912sports.net and order home delivery. It'll come right to your mailbox. So pick up the latest copy there of 912 Sports. And Kevin, we talked a little bit about it last week. GHSA had a big vote. Got together and basically, let's face it, Kevin, this is all because of legislation being passed in the Georgia Senate, or I guess that Georgia House there, about travel costs. That's what all this is derived from, where they passed legislation saying that if anything was over 75 miles, that the GHSA was going to have to pay these schools back for travel costs, which definitely threw a huge monkey wrench into everything. And of course, GHSA Executive Committee got together, responded by having a meeting last week, and we'll just kind of read you the notes here, our little some excerpts from it. But it said travel comes up time and time again. This is according to Dr. Robin Hines. After losing 17 schools, it didn't help that issue. The other problem was the multiplier and how it was applied. And I've heard over and over from state legislatures would like us to now to commit to going back to 6 classifications the next time we reclassify, which I believe will be in 2024. And that's exactly what they did, Kevin. They got together and passed it unanimously that we'll be going from 7 classifications here in Georgia back to 6. Now, one thing that I was unaware of last week when we talked, Kevin, once that was dropping back to 6, they are going to keep the split in single A. There will be a single A public and a single A private. So essentially giving us, 7 classifications instead of 8. So again, I don't like when politics get into sports, and that's exactly what has caused this. But I'm not so sure that we may not have some better competition because of going from 7 back to 6.
Yeah, well, so first of all, just to kind of touch on several points, I'm with you. We talked about that last week. We don't like politics mixing with high school athletics, but it does happen, and the pressure was put on, I guess, in this case once again. And so, right now, the GHSA, like you said, we do have 7 classes, but we have 8 state championships in most every sport because single A is divided between public and private. Now, in this next cycle, Sean, they're going back to a small single A division and a smaller single A division. Doesn't matter if you're public or private, you're going to be totally based on your numbers, but there will still be 2 divisions, one for the bigger, smallest schools and one for the smallest of the smalls. And so that's really also where I think they are, unless I misread that, in this 24-25 cycle going back to 6 classes. It will be the same thing with that small class, single A. It will still be public and private mixed, but they'll draw the line based on your numbers in terms of, all the small schools would say 500 students and above go into like class 1, division 1. The lower schools, whether you're public or private, will go into division 2. But the bottom line is, all in all, we're going to go to 6 classes from 7. So it'll be 1 through 6A instead of 1 through 7A. And, by the numbers, by the math, to keep it real simple, if you drop a class, you're going to put teams in a geographical area that are similar in size, and more schools in that area will be in the same classification versus, some of the things we have here, like Waycross and Brunswick schools right now aren't in the same class. They have been before, but just as an example, Glenn and Brunswick in 6A, Ware County in 5A, along with Coffee, which of course that's all about to change in this next classification cycle as well. But we'll do this again like we're scheduled to do in 24-25. But the new caveat will be we'll be doing this based on 6 classifications and not the current 7. And I'm with you, Sean. I mean, I think you can create some more natural rivalries again, that teams won't have the ability to avoid each other if they want to. In terms of non-region games, they'll be playing each other in region play. And so, from that standpoint, it's a positive. The negative is, again, politics. Our politicians putting the pressure on the GHSA to do this. But, we could get things more in line on the geographical line and still keep that competitive balance the best we can. Again, not everybody's going to agree with it. You're still going to have politics involved, the people campaigning for this and that and what regions they want to be in, and all sorts of different things. All the same reclassification issues we always have. Now, what I'm most curious about is where they are going to draw the lines based on, just simple math, what's going to be the cutoff your enrollment for 6A and 5A, who's going to be the smallest 6A schools, who's going to be the largest 5A schools, and right on down, where will they cut it off between 3 and 4A or 1 and 2A. So that's what I'm most interested in at this point, just to see where some of our schools who are kind of, on that line, they might be a smaller school in one classification and all of a sudden become, a bigger school in another, or vice versa. You have a big 6A school right now, could be a small 7A school in the current system. So those kinds of things are what I'm most interested in at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, and a perfect example of that is, what do they do with Ware County and Brunswick and Glenn? Do they group them together and put them in 5, or do they move all of them up to 6, or does Glenn have to face the likes of a Camden and a Richmond Hill again with basically 1,000 more students, at Camden and Richmond Hill than they are at Glenn? Or do they slide Glenn down to compete with, say, the Coffees and the Wares of the world and put all of that group into 5A? So that'll be the interesting thing to keep our eyes on. None of that stuff's been determined yet. I mean, this still has to be approved by the executive committee. This is basically the board of trustees making a recommendation, unanimously voting to put this before the executive committee. And listen, we both understand it's probably going to pass. I mean,
it passed 13-0 at the board of trustees
right. So
level, so it's going to pass at the executive committee's level as well. I mean, it just you can
it's just a formality,
writing on the wall, and that's going to be early April. I think their meeting is April the 11th.
Right, yeah, and it's basically just a formality. So it'll be, then they'll have to get into the number crunching and where those lines get divided, and like I said, does Bacon and, I mean, not Bacon, but Pierce and Brantley and Appleton all sitting there, right at 1,000 students. Do they stay in 3? Do they go to 2? Do they get moved up to 4? You just don't know where those lines are going to be crossed. So that'll be something that we'll keep our eyes on in the next several months to figure out where this thing shakes out. But one of the other things that came out of this this meeting this past week was our good buddy Jesse Cruz down in Charlton County, longtime athletic director down there. Kevin was voted into the Georgia Athletic Directors Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Jesse Cruz. Been a staple down there in Folkestone for years, and then also was a big part of still a big part of this board of trustees and the executive stuff that goes on up there at GHSA. So congratulations to Jesse and all of Charlton County for having one of their own and voted into that Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's been involved on the state level on a lot of committees and different things of that nature, and certainly has done a good job down there running things in Folkestone. So good to see him get recognized for all the work he's done on the local level, but certainly on the state level as well. That's an honor well deserved.
Exactly. Well, Kevin, we'll also go ahead and talk a little bit about Gator baseball. Gators on 912sports.net. We're bringing you every game this year. One of the things that Ware County's not been doing, Kevin, and that's playing a lot of baseball. They're fixing to get into region play here. Got a big doubleheader against Veterans on the road coming up this Friday. First pitch is going to be at 4 o'clock. You can catch all the action of both of those doubleheaders on 912sports.net. But, Kevin, Ware County has only played 3 games in a 21-day period. That is not a lot of baseball. I mean, this time of the year, you're used to playing 3 games a week, and now Ware is going to have played 3 games in a 21-game 21-day stretch here due to rainouts, due to scheduling issues. But that's not a lot of baseball being played, getting right into the meat of your season, getting right into region play. So I'm kind of a little bit leery about that. But the Gators did have a good outing last week, came away with a 16-6 win over Bacon County in 5 innings. Game that started out pretty rough for the Gators. Young pitcher winds up starting out the game, striking out the first 2 batters, and then kind of goes into a slump. A batter gets on, and the next thing you know, Bacon has put 6 runs on the board. So took a 6-3 lead there. But one of the bright spots was Gator pitching again. Caden Henderson comes in, shuts them down, does not allow another run in the next 4 innings. And the Gators were, bats get hot and come away with a big 16-6 run rule deal over the Bacon County Red Raiders there. But like I said, that's still only that was the second of 3 games that they'll have played by this Friday. So just not a lot of baseball when you're getting right into region play, and that's a point of concern.
Yeah, and on the contrary, I mean, the teams that we cover in Golden Isles baseball and certainly in Region 2-6A, and we're going to talk about that more on the other side of this conversation. But, those teams have been hit with weather since region play started, more so than they had in the non-region portion of the schedule. The first series with everybody impacted by weather, they had to juggle the schedule to get those games in that week period. And then, last week, they dealt with weather as well, which has forced them to play two series in 1 week, finish up the series from last week and then have this week's series, which, of course, here in Glenn County involves the city championship series, Brunswick against Glenn. But despite the Gators not playing ball, these teams, if weather allows it, are going to play 4 games in 1 week, Sean. The 3 in this week's schedule series plus the one they had to make up from last week.
Yeah, and it seems like it's one extreme or the other, either playing no games or a bunch of games. But yeah, Kevin, you're going to have that report on Region 2-6A coming up right after the break. But hey, everybody, stick around. We'll be right back here with that report after these messages on Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Hello, everybody. Kevin Price once again for On Air with 912 Sports. Of course, I'm also the play-by-play voice for Golden Isles Baseball, which features the Glenn Academy Red Terrors and the Brunswick High School Pirates on 912sports.net. But this week is supposed to be the City Championship Series, also a Region 2-6A series between the Pirates and the Red Terrors, but they played very little baseball against each other so far this week due to Mother Nature and the clement weather. Game 2, which was scheduled for Wednesday night, was rained out. More on the continuation of this series in a moment, but they did get Game 1 in on Monday night over at Bud Couch Field on the BHS campus. The Red Terrors won that game 5-2 over the Pirates to take the opening game in the 3-game series. Glenn Academy, the story for the Red Terrors was the pitching and hitting of Tom Eccles. He got the pitching win for the Red Terrors to go to 7-0 on the season, pitched into the 7th inning, so he pitched 6 full innings before giving way to the Glenn bullpen to close out that victory. He came into the game with an ERA of 1.04 and, of course, gave up just that one earned run to the Pirates in the victory. And, of course, he helped himself with the bat, going a perfect 4-for-4 at the plate with 3 RBIs, so driving in 3 of Glenn Academy's 5 runs in the ball game. He was named our Synovus Bank Player of the Game on our broadcast. We brought him into the broadcast booth after the ball game to talk about the Game 1 victory, along with GA head coach John Welborn. So we appreciate both of the time from both of those gentlemen. But Game 2, like I said, scheduled for Wednesday night over at Adam Wainwright Field on the south end of Brunswick, home of the Red Terrors. That game was washed out, and they will resume that series tomorrow, Friday night at 6 p.m. at Adam Wainwright Field once again for Game 2. And then Game 3, which was originally scheduled for Friday, will now be pushed back to noon on Saturday. That back at Brunswick's home field, Bud Couch Field on the BHS campus. So Game 2, Friday night between the Pirates and the Red Terrors at the Wayno. Game 3 scheduled for noon on Saturday at Bud Couch Field. We call that place the Couch. And we will have actually both games on 912sports.net with Golden Isles Baseball. So click on our website, www.912sports.net. Listen to both of those ball games, the call of both of those games, whether you are coming to the ballpark or not. Now, the teams actually did have another game that they played on Tuesday, both Glenn and Brunswick. They had to finish out their region series from the week before. Both of their games on Friday night, the game 3s that they were supposed to play, Brunswick against Statesboro at Statesboro, Glenn against Richmond Hill in Richmond Hill. Those games had to be played on Tuesday night, and unfortunately for both the Pirates and the Red Terrors, they came away from those games on the road with losses. Brunswick High played from behind all afternoon in that ball game, but lost that game 12-11 with Statesboro scoring the winning run in the bottom of the 7th, their last at bat. And Brunswick actually committed 10 errors in that ball game and were able to stay in that game somehow and only lose it just 12-11. So a tough third game loss for the Pirates there. And then Glenn Academy fell 7-5 on the road at Richmond Hill in game 3 of their series. So Glenn ends up losing 2 out of 3 to the Wildcats. Brunswick ends up losing 2 out of 3 to Statesboro. So we'll have to see how both of those game 3 losses actually impact both the Pirates and the Red Terrors in the region standings once this whole region schedule plays out. Speaking of the region, we'll look at the region standings real quick for Region 2 6A. Of course, everybody has either played 2 series now and are into their third one, or has already had a week off as well, as it's a 17 league and somebody has a week off every week. But Effingham just 6-9 overall, but the Rebels are off to a 4-0 start in region action. 3 of those wins now are over a struggling Bradwell team, but they did beat Richmond Hill on Monday night to open up their region series with the Wildcats, beat Richmond Hill 5-0. Statesboro off to a 12-5 start overall, 5-1 in the league through their first 2 series. They're off this week. 3 of those wins against Bradwell, 2, like I mentioned, against Brunswick. South Effingham, 12-4 overall, 3-2 in the region. Of course, they lost 2 out of 3 to Glenn Academy, and actually have won 2 games so far this week against Bradwell after having last week off as their off week in the region schedule. Richmond Hill 12-4 overall as well, 5-2 in the region, like I mentioned. Actually swept Brunswick to open region play, and then took 2 out of 3 against Glenn, and then lost their game the other night against Effingham, game 1 of that 3-game series this week. Glenn Academy sitting at 13-3 overall, so the most wins by any team in the region by 1 game. And then, of course, are 4-3 in the region. Had those 2 wins over South Effingham in 3 games to start out the region schedule. Both of those teams went to the Elite 8 last year, by the way. And, of course, Glenn Academy lost 2 out of 3 to Richmond Hill, counting the loss this week, and have already taken 1 game against the Pirates for their total of 4 region wins. Brunswick struggling right now, 7-9 overall, just 1-6 in the region, as noted. Swept by Richmond Hill to open up the region schedule. Only ended up taking 1 out of 3 against Statesboro, and so far had this 1 loss to Glenn Academy this week, with the 2nd and 3rd games in that series still to come. And then Bradwell just 4 wins on the season overall. 4-10 is their overall 1-loss record, 0-8 in the region as they rebuild under new head coach David Wasden, actually a former Brunswick High School Pirate and a teammate of mine there under head coach Jimmy Brown. So we wish David Jello Wasden, as we used to call him, good luck with the Bradwell Institute Tigers as he tries to revive that program. But that's a look at the City Championship Series with games 2 and 3 coming up Friday night and Saturday afternoon here in the Golden Isles between the Brunswick High School Pirates and the Glenn Academy Red Terrors. And then, of course, that's a look at the region standings as well, with a lot of baseball still left to be played as we look at the pecking order and see who ends up in the first 4 spots in the region, and we'll move on to the state playoffs in Class 6A. So for On Air with 912 Sports and also Golden Isles Baseball, I'm Kevin Price reporting.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.